Welcome to TransporCast!
Brought to you by HMFKC Productions, exclusive on YouTube.
Today is indeed a pleasant day as we welcome you guys back for today's episode of Bus o Jeep Thoughts on High Priority Bus System in Davao City.
Before we begin, let me introduce myself. I am Hannah Grace R. Licera.
And I am Fatima Angeli Orapista, and we are your hosts for today's podcast. Do you know, Hannah, that our episode for today is extra special than usual?
I believe so. I think that our topic for today is very interesting, and also we have invited a few guests to join us today.
So without further ado, let's welcome our guests for today. Hi guys! Hi. I am giving you the platform to please introduce yourself, starting off with you.
Hi, I am Mariah Cristiana Larica from grade 11 Garnet. I am a student commuter.
Hi, I'm Charles David Patulin, also a student commuter.
Nice knowing you guys. So before we start, I just want to ask if you guys are aware of our podcast today entitled High Priority Bus Systems. Are you aware of High Priority Bus Systems?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Why
Yes.
so? How so?
How so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go.
Okay.
If you don't know our topic about today, we will enlighten you about that. So, Hannah, what do you think? Why is the high priority bus systems implemented in Davao City?
Okay. So, going back to our previous semester, we have the subject called MIL, where we did an
Documentary.
an advocacy, and we interviewed government officials, as to why high priority bus system is implemented, because it is a solution to solve a social problem, an environmental problem such as the air pollution and traffic congestions, light pollution as well. And this is one of the solutions that the government is looking for, is envisioned. So, however, there are advantages and disadvantages to this, and that's why people have been thinking about it, giving opinions about it. So that's why we are doing this podcast, for us to
be a voice for the commuters.
Yes.
Okay. But before that, we also have a special guest online that is not here with us, but she is able to be with us online. Say hi and wave to Casey. Hi guys! Hey Casey!
Hey Casey! So Casey, what do you think about the HPBS? Are you a commuter?
Or do you have challenges?
So I am actually a commuter. I used to commute from school to apartment back when I was still in face-to-face, in grade 8. And for me personally, I really like the idea of HPBS and its implementation, because for me, it's more comfortable and environmentally friendly, which are both things I really like about it. Like, if you really think about it, jeepneys aren't that very comfortable. They're usually very tight in terms of space, and so you're always crammed together with other people, and it's usually very hot. It's very uncomfortable. Plus, buses tends to be bigger. They tend to be also more new, which means they're more environmentally friendly because they're new technology that makes them more fuel efficient. And so it's just like way better in things I prioritize.
How about you, Charles? What is your experience? Are you comfortable riding the jeep?
Sometimes I'm comfortable riding a jeep, sometimes not.
How do you say so?
Because sometimes if you ride in the jeep and the space is wide and you can sit comfortable, while if you ride in rush hour, you can sit comfortable, like you can't even sit anymore.
Right?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it's so
That's
relatable,
why.
yeah.
And so hot, that's why I
You
said so.
we may feel haggard, right?
Yeah, feel haggard. Sometimes you go to the jeep fresh, you go out to the jeep haggard.
Yeah, the
That's one
perfume
of the
is
yeah.
the perfume is perfuming.
Yeah.
That's one of the challenges too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What about you, Mariah? What can you say?
Do you have challenges?
Yeah.
Recently, to go to Sayap in Aderojas, Jacinto campus, I rode a jeepney, mental jeepney, because it's a one-way ride only. And then I thought it was 15 pesos fare. I mean. And then I was shocked when the driver said that it
Cost some more.
it cost some more. It was 3 pesos less. And then I have to give 3 pesos. And then the next day, I rode another mental jeep, and then I paid 15 pesos. Then the driver didn't even hesitate to.
So there's bias
Yeah.
when it comes
There's
to
a
fare.
bias
Yeah.
in fare, and
You feel unsafe.
yeah, I feel unsafe that ride because he always overtakes,
Overtakes.
and then one time he decided to cut off in the gasoline station, and then the gasoline boy at that time is shouting like, "Hey, why are you cutting in? It's illegal."
Yeah.
But the jeepney driver didn't even took notice of it. So I think I feel unsafe.
Yeah.
However, because it's fast, I think I was not a little late. Yeah. So I think that's the advantage of
Yeah.
the jeep.
Your experiences are quite interesting. How
But it is
about
also challenging,
yeah?
right?
How about the bus? Have you rode the bus? Anyone of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Yes, I ride a bus every day because every time I go to school, I ride a bus, and my experience riding the bus is so good,
Yeah,
so
that's so
comfortable, and so relaxing because the bus that I always rode is air conditioned.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
air conditioned.
And the fare is only 20 pesos, and it's from our subdivision to Bangkal, and so
That's far, right?
yes, it's so far and so cheap. So that's why I like the
And
bus
you will
more.
not be haggard.
Yeah.
Not be haggard,
Not
of
be
course,
haggard,
because
of course.
air conditioned
Yeah.
and you get relaxed. Oh my god, and sometimes you can go to sleep. The conductor,
You feel
will-
safe.
yeah, will
sleeping,
just
right?
stop you and get your payment.
So can you say that you prefer riding buses over jeepneys?
For me, I think yes,
Yeah.
because bus is more convenient for me because you can see it properly and the fare is good enough and it's air conditioned.
Yeah, it's air conditioned.
Yeah, it's not no hot anymore.
That's
So,
right.
so aside from everything that they have said about their experiences, we also have other opinions and concerns from other commuters when we had our advocacy. So with that, we summarize it into 3 concerns to our commuters. First one is the accessibility, and then next is convenience, and then
Is
next is
efficiency.
So what they have said earlier is the accessibility.
And
The
how,
jeep
yeah.
are really accessible. However, they are
Some
sometimes or most of the time packed with people.
especially during rush hours.
Yeah, and then the bus, they have a time schedule for the bus. And for the convenience, as we have heard a while ago, that it is air conditioned in the bus, that you can also watch a movie in the bus because they have TV. And for
Efficiency.
and for efficiency, I think there is a balance between efficiency. If you are just near, when you travel near, you have to, I think it's best to ride a jeepney
jeepney.
because it's nearer. But if you are far, you can ride the bus. So there's advantages and disadvantages when it comes to those two vehicles.
But they are both efficient.
Yeah, they're both efficient, convenient, and accessible in their own way. Yes.
Did you know, Hannah, that I found our podcast relevant?
Yes.
It is because our podcast, our topic right now is connected to our one of our Christian morality subjects, which is the importance of educating one's offspring on the transportation crisis in Davao City. Did you know, Hannah, that our podcast is aiming to be a voice for the commuters and
Platform, yes.
yeah, this is so because old jeepneys, especially for old jeepneys, they can traffic congestion, air pollution. It can also cause to global warming, which
Yeah.
is really
Alarming.
yeah. But the what the people don't know is that these effects actually are reasons for a person to be dead. And that is and that is why I think that our podcast is really relevant, so that the public can also be informed with these said effects of
And with these
OGPs.
implementations,
Yeah.
because it's new. If you implement something, it's new. So in connection to that, a lot of people might ask, like, how did the government come up with HPBS? Well, in fact, we believe that based through our topics, the government usually use the utilitarianism approach when it comes to making laws and making implementations, because utilitarianism is good. It is the good wherein the greater people
For the
are-
greater
for the
people.
greater people. It is good for the greater,
Greater
people.
people.
Yeah, that's the right word, guys. It is good for the greater people. So, with this, as the HPBS is currently now implementing right now, we believe that the government really thought about us. We should not think that the government will destroy us when they implement something new, because it is only for our development.
For the good.
For the good
of all.
Yeah, we have to embrace innovation as we have in our SDG. In
With that
innovation.
being said, I can
Yeah.
also relate that to human freedom. It seems as though our podcast today is freedom. We are allowing our guests to be free to voice out their concerns, which is, I am sure Mara here wants to add about freedom.
Yeah, because freedom is, in an ontological perspective, freedom can be understood as a very essential aspect of us human beings. It is in our nature to have and to act freely. And in a sense, freedom can be seen as a kind of authentic condition for us beings, like us, to have, voice out our
be free.
opinions, to be
Yeah.
free, because it helps not only the government but us to be heard.
Yeah, that's right.
When we talk about freedom of expression, we're referring to individuals who has ability to speak up freely without fear of retribution or censorship, discrimination.
Yeah, that's
or,
right.
Yeah, because that is very common in medias, in social medias. They censor everything that is they think they
Isn't appropriate.
isn't appropriate. And it is a very crucial aspect in political and social sides, because it engages people like us to participate in this change, because we are one of the most affected in this change, in this transportation change. And I believe speaking freely can not only achieve us freedom, but also help us contribute to shaping our future society, our future
For the
economy.
greater good.
Yeah, for the greater
For the
good.
greater good, yes.
Especially here in Davao, because this HPBS is specifically in Davao.
Yeah, that's right. In addition to that, whenever the government creates or implements a new law, there will always be people that will be affected with that law. It's either in a positive way or in a negative way. But as I said earlier, in Utilitarianism Act, the positive is greater because it's
But
greater.
why can the government say that it is for the greater good when in fact implementing high priority bus systems can also not only affect the commuters but also the jeepney drivers,
Yeah.
right? Because back when our documentary, we actually interviewed a jeepney driver, and to summarize his points, he definitely highlighted that he is really affected as they cannot further enter a new job,
Enter a new job.
right?
It will be hard for them to
Cope
to
up.
find a new job. And with that, in addition to that, when we interviewed again the government official, they assured us that there will be compensation for those drivers being affected or those people will be affected in general. Even though it's not a really, it's
High.
not a lot, but,
But
it,
at
it
least-
is
At least it can help.
at least it can help. Yeah.
In a way, it can also be freedom for them. Whatever they choose, whatever path they choose, they still have benefits they have to gain.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you,
I
Mariah.
agree. And as we live in society, we should always look for the benefit that will help everyone. We should be innovative. We should not be
We should
the same.
we should be in
Yeah.
SDG 9. You
Yeah.
know what? Industry, innovation, and infrastructure.
We should always look for
We should always adapt
we
into
should always
innovation.
adapt to innovation. Yes.
That also connects to shun ignorance, because I believe that as we are progressing every year, there are really innovations. With that, I think that we as citizens, we should really adapt with that said innovations, like the high priority bus system.
We should adapt, even though like there was one experience I had when I rode the jeep. There's a grandma beside me, and they're talking with her seatmate. They're talking about like the bus, that they don't like riding the bus because it is a hassle for them. They don't know how to ride the bus, or they don't want to try out riding a bus. So in my mind, I think that they should be open about this because it is for the good of our city, that we are not left behind with the innovative and technological advancements in our world, and that we should strive to shun ignorance because ignorance can kill us if we don't
You're right.
if we
I
don't do
agree
something
with
about
you.
it. Do you agree, Charles?
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Do you
that's
agree,
right.
Mariah?
of course, I
Of course.
agree. Oh, how about Casey?
How about
Do you
Casey?
agree, Casey?
Do you agree, Casey?
Oh, yes. Now, with all these opinions and concerns of the people, and we are talking about the government so much in our podcast, what can we do now as a citizen?
We can also ask Casey.
Yeah, we can also ask.
Furthermore, we'd like to ask Casey if she has recommendations on how the commuters and the jeepney drivers are going to be able to cope up with this said innovation.
Yeah, with this said
So, for me, one of the things I would recommend for commuters is that they should try memorizing a bit of the routes, or like at least trying it a few, because a lot of people don't want to change, they just want to be stagnant, and that's like really awful if you want to keep up with everybody else. And so like for commuters, like I suggest like just try it, just try to know which ones maybe you can change a few of your routes to maybe include the bus. Maybe it's gonna be easier, maybe it's gonna be more comfortable for you. That's like one of the things I would recommend. And for the jeepney drivers, I do sympathize with them. A lot of them might lose their job, but as Hannah mentioned earlier, and Fatima, the government is trying to implement them in the system, in the HPBS. So like if they can't get a job there, they still have a lot of experience in driving. Maybe they can get into another job, like maybe food delivery, or even tricycle, or maybe even something more professional like truck driving or private driving like Uber and stuff. So there's a lot of opportunities for jeepney drivers even outside of joining the HPBS for them to be still ano, they still have a job.
That's right, Casey. We agree with you.
Yeah, thank you.
It is very relatable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, as we are about to go to the end part, of course, we should do something as a citizen, and we've listed also 3 that we should do.
Recommendations.
Of course, this is the goal of the podcast, to share something insight with you all. So first is, as a good citizen, we should obey the law. We should obey the law, even though that sometimes people are really hard-headed and
Does not want to
stubborn.
follow,
Yes,
yeah.
we should follow. We should follow because we are mandated by the government, of course. And with that, if you have, as a citizen, if you have some reactions or concerns, you can raise them, of course, because
To
we
us,
have,
Yeah. That is why Dabawenes have all the rights to express their opinions
Yeah.
and concerns in this I like this podcast because
Yeah.
it makes us
It makes
talk
us-
about
yeah.
this, and then because we are not only we are one of the most heavily affected by this change, so the ability to express our opinion as commuters' opinions and concern freely is not only a matter of political and legal rights, but also a manifestation of our natural act as human being, right?
we should raise concerns with,
With
respect, because we should respect people, of course.
Because there are some that gets really,
Really
angry
angry.
if we don't
Yeah.
agree with their
Especially in social
opinion.
media.
Yeah, in social media.
Social media. It when someone in
Post.
political news, there would always be negative
Bashers.
comments,
Yeah.
bashers,
And we can't
in
avoid those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we should raise concerns with respect, of course. And lastly is to be irresponsible. Be responsible citizen. Because whatever it is that the government tries to implement, if the people are not responsible, for example, like garbages, how we should throw our garbages, if we are not responsible, it will never
It will
happen.
never change.
As well as in our topic, the transportation, if we are really against it, if we are not responsible,
It wouldn't foster.
it
right?
wouldn't.
We will have enough innovation for us to cope up, because
Nothing will
here in
change.
Philippines we don't have any technologies to cope up with the other world countries. The US, they have even robots now.
Yeah, they have robots.
And we are really behind
Yeah.
towards innovation. That's why I think that us Davaoenos should really change and move and act accordingly to our innovations, especially the high priority bus systems in Davao.
And with being responsible, we should also be responsible in our actions. When we are riding the jeep, please don't push too hard on people, especially those senior citizens and PWD. We should not, like push them. If ever there are rush hours, we should be mindful of our fellow citizens. And also in the bus, when you see old people like standing or pregnant people standing,
Please
and
do-
you are sitting, please
do
give your
prioritize
chair.
them.
Yeah, please do prioritize them. It is an act of a good citizen. Yeah. So any last
What do you
Yeah,
have?
generalization.
I have a last message. With all of that
discussions.
being said, we should keep in mind that we must consider people's engagement and perspective on these changes, because I believe that in building a better nation, we need to consider the people's opinion.
Yeah.
Conclude our podcast.
Yeah.
I would like to ask also Casey if whether she prefers riding a bus or a jeepney now that she has been enlightened with all our discussion.
I prefer, the bus. I think it's just way more comfortable, like everybody has been saying. Plus, you know what? There's rumors that the HPBS will include Wi-Fi, like free Wi-Fi, which I think is like gonna be really interesting to see. Plus, it's more, if I run out of data, at least I have the bus to ride off. Plus, I do think the bus is more economically friendly, like what Charles said earlier. Like, it's probably gonna end up cheaper in the long term because of its fuel economy. It's just way better because it's new technology compared to old jeepneys. Plus, with new technology, it means it's probably way better at being preserving its energy for mile. Like, its mileage is way better compared to the jeepney. So yeah, I would obviously prefer to ride the bus for both comfort and for peace of mind that I'm choosing something good for the environment.
With all that being said, we are thankful. We're thankful for each and every one of you for listening.
And reaching up until the end.
Yes, and if you have any
Concerns
or
or more-
comments or anything, just comment down.
Feel free to
Below.
share.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Because we considered people's opinion here
Yeah,
in this
As
discussion.
this podcast aims to be a voice for and with others.
Yes.
And for the greater
Good.
of
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you better subscribe.
Be sure to leave a like, comment, and
subscribe.
subscribe down below.
Thank you.
Until next time.